Hi muckers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I am very excited for today's video because the video I posted yesterday was something that I don't frequently do on my channel, but it's one of my favorite things to ever do, which is one of two things. Number one is unpopular opinions when it comes to the people we talk about, the topics we talk about, and then number two is basically just hearing your opinions on everything, because I harp on about a lot of topics and a lot of people that we talk about, and I always love, and if you comment on my videos, there's a high chance that I've responded to your comment, because making the content is one thing for me, but my main thing that I like doing is hearing people's takes on what I say and then responding to them. So whenever I have like a video opportunity to basically like open up a conversation, like completely talking about like your takes on things and then me giving my takes on what you have to say, it is just music to my ears, and I love it, and I'm so glad that you really enjoyed the video. Well, I mean, a lot of you did. I don't know if you all did, but a lot of you in the comments yesterday really enjoyed the format of yesterday's video, which was reading your unpopular opinions or your, you know, unpopular takes that have to do with everything in our, like, universe that we talk about here. And in that video, I said that if you enjoyed it, please let me know, because I would love to do a follow-up video going even more in-depth, because we've now kind of set the foundation of an unpopular opinions, unpopular takes on these things. So the comments on that video are even more unpopular, or then, you know, responding to things I've said in that video. And if you want to go watch that one, I'll link it at the top of the pinned comment and description. But basically the format was me reading takes, and a lot of them I agreed with and a lot of them I didn't agree with, and I just think it's interesting having that conversation. So what we're gonna do today, and I'm so excited for it because these are just so like entertaining for me to film, and I hope that you enjoy them. I assume that you did because there were a lot of you talking, but we're gonna be going through even more unpopular takes, even more unpopular opinions on my unpopular opinions video I posted yesterday. So these ones are now responding to all of them, and we're just gonna get into it. I'm gonna read them in the order that they show up. So if I go on my video from yesterday, I'm not doing favoritism here. I'm literally just gonna be reading top to bottom from the top comments. So these are the ones that got engaged with most. These were the ones that had, you know, the biggest conversations around them, maybe the most likes, maybe the most dislikes. And that's what I like to hear. So we're gonna just go and start this. So here we go. The first one says, by Beathaway, says, I think James Charles gets away with his crimes for being young. The age gap between him and his victims, and honestly, the fact that we don't just call it that, a lot of people are like, ooh, the drama with James Charles. I'm like, no, he made that video sitting down acknowledging that he had at least messaged a couple of those boys inappropriate pictures. And you know what they are called then? Victims. Allegedly. But not allegedly. You know what I mean? Alright. Because the age gap is not that big, people ignore it because of, you know, the power dynamic. And I said this yesterday where I was like, why is the internet and mainstream media ignoring, and parents, by the way, because I do feel that there's a responsibility on parents to know what their children are watching, and if there's a young person that is openly telling their parents time and time again about James Charles is their favorite creator, James Charles this, James Charles that. James Charles accusations were in the mainstream media, and a majority of the parents probably had read things about it. Maybe a lot of them hadn't, but I think that there is enough out there about James Charles, and I think that, you know, it's kind of like how much responsibility is on the parent whenever it's a child watching, and I think that's a very interesting conversation. But I don't even think that the parents should be put in the position of having to research James Charles' entire, like, history online to know that he's a bad person, because it's on the platforms for continuing to push him, especially TikTok, to an active, growing, young audience after he has seemed to very much so exploit that demographic. Alright, so Callie said, probably my most intense existential spiral as I enter adulthood was the shocking realization that Shane Dawson is so problematic, and even was the source of much of my childhood humor as a white guy, now seeing it for what it is, racism. And I totally agree that while we bear responsibility of knowing who we're supporting, ultimately it is the fault of social media firms, this is what I'm saying, for being so careless about their young, impressionable internet audience. And I said this yesterday. I said that I used to watch Shane, Jeffree, all these different people. Did I ever type in Shane Dawson problematic videos, Trisha Paytas problematic videos? No, but I knew that people didn't like them for certain reasons. And that's on me, even though I was like 12, 13. That's on me for not doing that. But I also agree that it's the social medias who are then pushing these people to us. Trisha, Shane, Jeffree, James, all these people's videos were on the trending page for our young eyes. And even if it wasn't like us as a young person, adult eyes, whatever, it's being pushed to us. It's being pushed to us. So there is a responsibility on us. And I take, you know, responsibility for not doing my due diligence and like researching what these people were doing wrong, but it's also on the social medias for just moving past it and pushing them to the forefront. And Shane Dawson was the king of documentaries on YouTube, and Jeffree was the king of makeup. Like, give me a fucking break. Alright, okay. So, Lynette said, I agree with you, Adam, that YouTubers don't owe everyone kindness all of the time. It's not possible as a human being too sensitive to everything at all times, and listeners need to realize that one person saying something you disagree with does not mean you need to stop being true to yourself. Now, this is in response to my point, which someone made about Ethan Klein, saying that he's just, you know, so problematic these days and everything he said is bad takes. And I said that because I'm still someone that enjoys the H3 podcast, I've had to change my way of viewing them. I won't dwell on this a lot because I did it in my video yesterday, but now when I watch a H3 video, I know that there's probably a lot of statements they're going to say that I disagree with, but I'm now no longer going into it and being shocked by it, and I feel that I can enjoy the content a little bit more than what I have whenever I've been really pissed off by things that they've done in the past couple months. So that is Lynette agreeing with me and basically being like, you know, the way we approach the content after being, you know, upset by things or continuing to watch someone after we know that they've triggered us or upset us, it's kind of a conversation we have to have with ourselves whether we're going to continue supporting said creator. Alright, okay. We have another one. Lexi said, I felt guilty last year because I was watching Jeffree's 2019 videos because they brought me a lot of comfort when I was being bullied. I am no longer a fan of his because of all what he has done, but I still have the urge to watch his 2019 videos because they are nostalgic and I would always fangirl about him and Nate being cute together. I agree that because we weren't actively looking up problematic things they did, and social medias were pushing them, we watched these YouTubers, for a lot of us, during pivotal moments of our lives, whether we were going to them for comfort, or whether it was, you know, your last stage of school, or maybe you were going through a hard breakup, and you then find comfort in these YouTubers who are being pushed to you. So while I agree that, yeah, it's a little bit our fault, I think the point here that we're all coming to is that it's the social media's fault here. So you saying that, you know, you feel bad for going back and watching his old content from the content you would watch for nostalgia to get it or for comfort, I don't think that that is something you should be blaming yourself for, because again, that was the stuff that was being pushed to you. You now know the person that he is. You now know the person that these YouTubers are, so you don't support them going forward. Do I personally find anything wrong with people going back and watching James Charles, Trisha, Shane, Tana, any of these people because they were their comfort person, or that a certain video was their comfort? I don't think that that is wrong for someone to do in the slightest, because you don't understand what someone, the individual, the audience member, is going through in the time that they were watching that person before they find out a lot of stuff. Now, my take is completely different whenever someone knows the really bad things these people have done and then actively support their, you know, ongoing things. I think that's a little bit different in 100% of the way. Alright, okay. So Nikki said, trigger warning, ED. So, if you don't want to hear this one, I would say double tap the screen 2 times. And then if I'm still talking about it, just double tap it again. But trigger warning, ED. Shane Dawson was a comfort to me with his food videos because I had an ED, and when I was struggling to eat, I'd put them on because he was entertaining and it made it feel easier to eat. So again, this goes into the sense of these people are, for a lot of us, at specific times in our lives, things we're going through, comfort people. And it's not fair for us to put so much responsibility on ourselves, whereas again, what am I going to say? The social medias were pushing it to us. It was low-key really hard when all the stuff about him came out because he was one of the big things that literally saved my life. I can't watch any of his stuff anymore because I can just think of his gross behavior. So I understand how it hurts and affects someone to deal with a YouTuber that really helped them when they were at their lowest, but some things are just unforgivable. And even though Shane was low-key addressing stuff on the podcast and it was kind of refreshing to see him take some sort of accountability, I disagree, I don't think he took any, but okay. I could still never go back to his videos, but I also think people still go back to old YouTubers' videos after stuff comes out and they shouldn't feel guilty. If those videos are the only things that helped you or help you, I think it's okay to put yourself first with that. I think this is a conversation about nostalgia here. Alright, okay. So a lot of people were commenting, like Jalen, saying, I really enjoyed this concept of video a lot more than just focusing on one person. Obviously, we'll be going back to that, but this has just been really fun to do. Jalen said that they enjoyed the multiple different people in one video, like this one. So we have Killinair said, I agree, Adam, 100% that Trisha Paytas is now boring. I skip her videos these days, and the reason Trisha stayed relevant for so long was because she was the opposite of boring. So I think that that is one of the biggest insults that Trisha can get, which is being called boring, because being not boring was the only thing that kept her career going, which is why her career is in a nosedive right now. Alright, Starlight Dream said, Shane Dawson, Gabbie Hanna, Creepshow Art, oof, a name we haven't heard in a while, Anna Campbell, another name we haven't heard in a while, were all comfort YouTubers for me, and each of them have revealed to have done things that I, myself, could never give an excuse for absolutely disgusting behavior. You said it was like losing a family member, and that's so true. So for me, I said that whenever you're dealt with being shown all these people's horrible, horrible, unforgiving actions, it almost does feel like losing a family member, as dramatic as that sounds. I know that that may be laughable to a lot of people. It's like losing a best friend, someone who was there for you. But at that stage, I do feel that there's a responsibility, and I took it upon myself. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone who doesn't do this, but I'm just saying that I could not watch a Shane Dawson video now if it wasn't just something that I was covering. I don't find comfort in that man anymore, and I'm not saying that I ever find comfort in him, but he was entertaining to me, and I don't think I could ever watch one of his videos now, because you can't look at him as like, oh, soft little man or little innocent boy anymore. I think we're so far past that stage. The same thing goes for Trisha, the same thing goes for Gabbie, the same thing goes for Creepshow. Now, Creepshow Art was a really big one, and I'd love to know your opinion on this, but Creepshow Art was almost one of the most respected voices in the commentary space, someone who was fair, someone who was very valid, very legit, very unbiased, and then it came out that she was actually the complete opposite of that. She was the least trustworthy. She was talking shit about her friends. She was manipulating her views. She was manipulating her content. She was one of the most untrustworthy ones, and so I feel that that's really shocking as well whenever you're watching Creepshow Art, as someone who's calling out other people, and she's actually way more guilty than the people that she was calling out. She was bullying her friends, her closest YouTube friends that she, you know, would praise in the daily on her videos. She would talk shit about them on anonymous forums. That is someone then that you're like, wow, this person had the audacity to call other people out, and I was watching them and hearing their takes calling other people out, and then they would stop the video and go off and do even worse things. Creepshow Art, to me, I would love to know your opinion in. So if you have your unpopular opinions, or even, I don't even know if they're unpopular anymore, just your takes on Creepshow Art, please let me know them down below, because I think that she is so fascinating, and how she ruined her career is so fascinating because she did it to herself. She did it to herself. Alright, okay. So we have the next one that says, from Alyssa, I was trying to put on Shane's podcast to see if he changed his way of video creating, and he didn't. And it surprises me that he still has a platform and people support him. His brother says things that are cringe and uncomfortable, and I'm shocked that he doesn't get called out for it. And here's the thing. Shane's recent podcast, especially with his brother, he's very, like, unhinged, and he's like, fuck cancel culture, and I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. Mark my words, in approximately 2 years, Shane Dawson is gonna get cancelled because of his new podcast. Now, that was something whenever he was starting this podcast, he was like, I'm so scared to get cancelled with it. And his brother was like, fuck it, I'm gonna say things that you would get cancelled for. Just wait 2 years and that podcast will come full circle again. Drew said, we have a very unpopular opinion here. I still love Jeffree. I still find him so entertaining, and I can't deny that he's successful and still successful. Jeffree saw an opportunity to release and, you know, make makeup, and he made money. There is nothing about morals in it. People need to eat. Well, the thing is, I don't think people are calling, well, thank you for a very unpopular opinion, Drury, and thank you for your take. I don't think people have a problem with Jeffree making makeup. I feel like people have a problem with Jeffree being the absolute worst person ever. And so, I never once am like, I can't believe he made makeup and made money from it. No, I'm like, I can't believe he exploited communities. I can't believe his racist behavior. I can't believe his misogynistic behavior. I can't believe... That's what I go to whenever it comes to Jeffree. I can't believe how much of a bully he was behind the scenes. That, for me, is what I focus on with Jeffree, rather than, I can't believe he made money off of makeup. There's no denying that Jeffree Star is very talented when it comes to artistry, at least a few years ago. I mean, he's kind of ran out of ideas now, which is to be expected after releasing palette after palette after palette after palette. But I just think that that's my take on Jeffree. Alright, here we go. This is an interesting one because it's about drama channels. So, T.I. Time said, my unpopular opinion is that so many drama channels are completely bland and useless. Their opinions are often just the opinions of everyone else. Certain channels will wait to see how the public feels about a situation before giving their opinion. Now, one thing I will say about that point, I've been accused of that before, where it's like, Adam, this drama happened and you haven't made a video on it yet, you're waiting for the popular opinion. Sometimes, topics are triggering to talk about, especially in recent. Sometimes you don't have the time to immediately sit down and film a video, and there's just certain things that are so hard to talk about. We are dealing with lawsuits, R-word accusations, SA allegations, like, so I don't like the criticism that drama channels get, that it's like, you're waiting to make content to see the popular opinion. No, sometimes we're trying to figure out what our take is going to be on it. We're also trying to figure out how we can make it in a content form on a social media platform that doesn't like us talking about it. There are so many things that go into covering the recent dramas on YouTube that is very almost tactical for us, where we have to, you know, give certain things code names and, you know, edit certain words out or hint at certain things instead of saying it for legal reasons. And it's like, at the end of the day, we're also trying to protect ourselves. And that's my response to your point there. The example that comes to mind is when Gabbie complimented a deceased girl's top and everyone was outraged. Because of this, drama channels were outraged too. But then people started to say that actually it wasn't that deep, and she was just complimenting the clothing, and then the drama channels then went back on their words. Now, I was not a drama channel or watching drama channel content during the time of what you're talking about with Gabbie Hanna here. I know that that was a really big thing with like Gabbie and Angelica Oles. I don't know enough about that to talk about that, but I will say that the point of, do drama channels just fake their opinions, is a very interesting one. I think I would rather not make a video on something than be like, what's the popular take gonna be? And also, a lot of people will comment on my videos being like, this is the popular take, and I'm like, well, sometimes I just agree with the popular take, you know what I mean? We don't always have to be just like, I feel like that point is even more problematic, where it's like, there could be something that happens and the popular take is the right take, and then you're expecting the drama channels to go a different route, which is the wrong take, which is an evil take, just so that they like stand out and give like a drama take. Sometimes we honestly agree with what the majority are saying. Alright, okay. Here we go. So, we have another one that says, from Junkie Sama, who said, thank you for reading my unpopular opinion. Adam, I think this is the first time I've been in one of these videos, I can't remember. And I've seen you in the comment section for so long, and I fucking love you, Junkie Sama, and thank you so much for your support, I really appreciate it. Anyways, I'm very agreeing with a lot of things, and there's very interesting takes. The conversation around innocently, watching creators, sorry, I'm so excited to read this, I'm stumbling over my words, is definitely valid, and I do think that younger viewers, or viewers who may come across problematic creators' videos for the first time, shouldn't be blamed for watching those videos if they don't know about just how awful someone is, or has been. But, after they have more information, it goes right back to my opinion. They should no longer support the creator by watching their content. Maybe watching an old comfort video is okay, which is what I was saying, which is like, if you choose to actively support their actions moving forward, rather than just watching a comfort video from 2018, I think that's kind of on you then supporting them, knowing that they're a really bad person. And just Trisha doesn't seem right to me, especially after the last few years. There's so much real talent on YouTube, so many great creators who aren't problematic and don't have careers based on lies. And I think that that's a great point with Trisha, a career based on lies. Why not just start watching and enjoying their content and forget about the awful creators of the past, so find new people. The final thing I'll add is that Gabbie Hanna is completely irredeemable. And a lot of people were saying that. There was also a point, I'm actually going to open my window because it's fucking roasting in here. There's currently a heat wave going on in the UK and I'm sweating so much. I saw a lot of people say that they agree that Gabbie Hanna is completely like, oh my god, the reflection is coming in from the sun and the air is like vibrating, you know, from the heat. That goes to show how hot it is. A lot of people were saying that in their opinion, Gabbie is irredeemable. Alright, we will read another one. So, A. Paul said, I actually feel the same about Shane Dawson. I grew up watching his first videos, like Shenane. He seriously is the reason at some point that I wasn't, you know, thinking about really dark thoughts. I'm 29 now. He was very much so an escape when my dad walked out of my life. When he talked about his dad walking out during that section of videos, it gave me light to realize that I was also in a shitty situation, but I could still be funny and have friends because he could, even if I now realize how bad his humor truly was and how bad he treated his friends. I truly felt like he was my friend and his friends were my friends, such as Drew. He got me out of a dark place and I can't shake that from him, nor do I want to. Nor do I want to. He saved my life in many ways because even now I love YouTubers so much more than any celebrity because you feel so much closer to them and know that they are regular ass people. He is still an inspiration for my channel even though we don't have any type of similarities in content because I am a true crime channel, but I just hope that I bring people the joy that he brought to me in those specific times. It breaks my heart to see what he became. It breaks my heart that the veil has been lifted to this shitty person. And I think that the veil should have been lifted and I'm glad it did so people know who they're supporting. Alright, so he was 100% a comfort YouTuber. I've found quite a few different comfort YouTubers like you, Kelsey Dangerous, Catherine Manning, Kendall Ray, Christina Randall, etc. But it's so different because I felt Shane and I grew up together. It seriously has been a dark secret of mine for so long because I felt I just get so much hate for it. But like, how are you supposed to change your past, you know? I don't buy his merchandise, I don't watch any of his newer stuff, I don't interact with any of his social media posts anymore, so I feel for that person. She is courageous for coming out about it because I've hid in a special place in my heart about Shane because he really did help me. Alright, so that is also a very interesting point. So, I'm going to read out two more. One about Tana and one about Ethan. So the first one from Ethan, second last, is from Devilish Chrissy. My issue with Ethan isn't that he doesn't seem that he can be respectfully and, you know, disagree with people. He just respectfully can't do it. When I did watch H3, I noticed a lot that Ethan would just cut off his crew members if they disagreed with him. I honestly think a part of the reason his arguments with Trisha got so bad were because he would get aggressive and not let her talk. Alright, that's an interesting point, and a lot of people are agreeing with that in the comments. Now, the final point about Tana is from Erica. Says, I'm glad someone mentioned Tana and TanaCon, because I survived TanaCon. I was 23 at the time, and my sister who came with me was 24, so we were older than a lot of people in attendance. I waited in line for over 5 hours. And yes, I had nasty sunburn that healed over and left a tan for over a year. Holy fuck. I never made it inside the venue. I was in the front of the line probably 15 to 20 minutes away from being able to enter before they shut it down. So I paid $120 plus because I bought 2 tickets, that's so much money, to stand in line for over 5 hours. We got refunded for tickets, but that was it. See, I've always wondered if people actually got their refunds because do we remember Shane being like, I'll refund people out of my own money? And then he never did. He just was doing that for the series. Tana shared an email address that attendees could reach out to for promises of merchandise, hotel accommodations, reimbursement, etc. And I never got a response despite sending multiple emails. At one point I also sent an email to her former manager Jordan and got an automated response that was no longer saying that he was at the company in question. So my guess was that they both got kicked out of their management company as a result of TanaCon, which is the bare minimum that could have happened to them. Worse should have happened. They got off incredibly fucking easy. Needless to say, I stopped supporting Tana after that, and the series Shane Dawson did made me lose so much respect for him as well because of the way he babied her and excused her. We were literally in the hot sun with minimal shade and no access to food or water unless we left the line and gave up our spots for hours. People were so quick to say, well, it was Tana, what do you expect? I expected that she took my money for an event and I would get the experience that was fucking advertised. This person hasn't added the fucking, but I'm just annoyed on your behalf that I'm adding it. I just wanted the experience that, you know, I was offered. She had more than enough money and resources at that time to make a good event, and that is just exactly what it is to me. It is so crazy to me how TanaCon actually played out, and the fact that the Shane series happened makes me so angry because he did baby her. And Ryland, as much as I don't like him, at a point in the series goes, Shane, you need to stop being so easy on Tana because she still did do all of this stuff and you need to be fair and you're her friend and it's not going to be fair. And I completely agreed with Ryland's point there, and it was so nice to hear Ryland speak up, and Shane was like, oh yeah, of course I will, of course I will. And then he wasn't. Tana started the fake fucking crocodile, you know, tears, the waterworks, and then Shane would hug her, and then he started crying to her about how sad he was for her, and then it just never came to be any resolution other than, you know, Tana made an oopsie, Tana made a mistake, and that's one of my least favorite Shane Dawson series that he's ever done. But I want to know your opinion on the TanaCon Shane Dawson series. I would love to rewatch it and go through it episode by episode. I would love to do that for all of Shane's series because I'm sure my opinions have completely changed. So if you would like to see that, let me know and I can do episode by episode videos. But anyway, I love you. Thank you for watching this video. Me and Garfield say goodbye. We appreciate you being here. I just love this Garfield. I love it so much. Thank you for watching this video and I will see you in my next one, and bye.